Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the LAN Party Podcast. Today is Tuesday. February.
I've always hated how that month
11th.
is spelled.
It's like Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's like,
I hate it.
How the fuck are you actually supposed to say that shit? Anyways.
It is February 11th. 2020. Wow, what a way to start.
There you go. There's some quality content for you.
What?
I wasn't expecting him to say that.
Oh. That was one of those things where I'm like, well, it wasn't really that funny, and then I'm like, well, he's also looking at his phone, so maybe he saw something funny, but then then it was, in fact, the thing that I thought was not that funny. Boy, has the weather just kind of been
all over the fucking place.
Yeah. Fucking Friday, it snowed, and we had ice, and then Saturday, it was cold, and it rained in the morning, and then it snowed, and then Sunday, it was kind of nice, and in the 50s, and then yesterday, it rained all day and was cold. What the hell?
I have no idea, dude. I almost died Saturday.
I almost died Friday. I thought this, like, I was leaving for work, and, you know, out where I'm at, when this rain comes through, the roads aren't treacherous, but we don't get salt. So, like, unlike where Tyler lives, our roads, like, are easy driving.
Oh, yeah. Guess what? We didn't get our roads fucking treated till after Friday night.
But our roads don't get touched. So, while they may not be hazardous driving roads in normal condition, they're scary as shit when there's an inch of ice on the concrete. And I hit the brakes going out of my subdivision, and you know that intersection at the edge of the subdivision where, like, you got people coming both ways? There was a car coming one way and a truck coming the other way, and I hit my brakes to start slowing down, and my car did not start slowing down, and I thought to myself, this is how it ends. This is how I'm going to die. I'm going to get mashed in between two cars, and then my car is going to tumble into the cornfield in front of me. This is the end.
Yep.
Fortunately, I stopped about halfway into the lane.
That's good.
It's frightening. And then there was a fucking 12-car pileup right down the road.
Solid. You know the on-ramp to get on 64 from 150, but you never go out there?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's an on-ramp, and it's an S-turn to get onto the interstate, right? And it goes over the interstate first. So it's an overpass. And so you turn right, and then it's a little bit of a straightaway, and then it drops off into a ditch with a little bit of trees there. And I was finishing the first turn, right? And I see headlights in a little cusp of trees in that ditch, and I was like, huh, sucks for that guy. Should have been my first fucking tip. And then as I was getting on the straightaway, I see a fucking tow truck sitting on the on-ramp, presumably for that guy. But as I get on the straightaway, I oversteer and start fucking sliding. And, you know, my tiny monkey brain panics, and I start pressing the brake hard and overcorrect and start fucking fishtailing throughout that whole thing until I finally was like, okay, I'm not an idiot. I know how to correct this. Just get my stupid foot off the brake, give it a little bit of gas, and countersteer, and there we go. We're good now. And, you know, crawling past that fucking tow truck at like 10 miles an hour. Like, I bet he's just like, oh, thank God, that's not another idiot I have to pull out of the tree. So, yeah, almost died there. It was a great way to wake up at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was, it's just been some wild weather. I've managed to weasel my way out of having to work outside for the past couple days. Like, I worked out in the weather for the first 2 or 3 hours of my shift, and then I just end up inside for the rest of it. It's pretty damn convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I had to help them sort through. So my store is a certified still dealer, like the outdoor power equipment company, Still Tools. And they had like a big fucking $79,000 delivery come through, and they had to process it all and get all the serial numbers processed, which, by the way, that's a lot of fucking work for a weed eater.
Yeah, a little bit.
Serial numbers?
Don't you mean a string trimmer?
You're right, it is a string trimmer.
I can leave.
Nate immediately gets hostile. Immediately, without hesitation.
You know what's funny is I had never heard of a string trimmer until I overheard you guys arguing about it.
I'd heard of them called string trimmers before. Like when somebody told me, hey, can you get a string trimmer? I knew what they were talking about.
I had no fucking idea. How we even learn about that? Like,
Harbor Freight.
I know, but like, what was what was going on that
I think somebody
we were
asked
organizing
you,
bays.
we were?
And
I
you're like,
saw the box,
and
I was
you
like,
saw
what
the box, and you're, what the hell is a string trimmer? And I'm like,
you know, a weed whacker, fucking weed eater.
like that's what they're called.
Why not a weed trimmer?
I mean, I don't know. You use string to trim, though. That's where it gets the name.
Is there a fancy name for like hedge clippers?
No.
Technically, you can't trim weeds with just a string, though. There's
Sure you
a
can.
little
You just
more
gotta
involved.
spin it fast enough.
I know there's a motor involved though.
Oh,
wasn't for the
okay.
motor-
So we're
Okay,
gonna
but I mean, why don't you get like a
you
fucking
could call it a motorized string trimmer, maybe.
electronic motorized string trimmer thingy with poly wire and
No, even if
maybe you could get like a, I don't know, like a fucking 10 gauge guitar string. It's technically like .01 gauge.
well, when you put the
but
word
grab that and then just fucking with your hands and then fucking swing it really hard at the grass.
when you put the word trimmer after something, like the first thing that comes to mind is the word before that is what you use it on. So string trimmer, you use it to trim string. But no, you don't.
no, those are called scissors.
Or a knife.
But I mean, like, that's like vice grips. It's just a slang name. Vice grips comes from the brand Vice Grips locking pliers, but now everybody that comes in looking for locking pliers, they never ask, hey, do you guys have any locking pliers? They're like, hey, do you guys have vice grips? Rotary tools is another perfect example. What do we all call rotary tools? Dremels. That's what everybody calls it. It doesn't matter if it's a Dremel or if it's a Stanley or a Craftsman or a DeWalt or a Milwaukee. Everybody calls it a Dremel.
I thought that's what it was called. Like, I
Or,
don't know the actual name for it.
It's a rotary tool.
Facial tissue paper is Kleenex.
Yeah, everybody
calls them
Kleenex.
even though there's many different brands.
Actually, I've gotten into the habit of calling them tissues now.
But yeah, but still. Or Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Band-Aid's a
There's
big one.
Band-Aids.
Band-Aid is a brand.
It's actually an adhesive bandage.
Yeah, Band-Aid is a brand.
Is string trimmer a brand?
No.
It needs to be. I'm gonna make a brand called string
I
trimmer.
bet Weed Whacker was a brand or
And
is a brand
It
or
might be, and it's gonna be
Okay.
scissors.
We
I'm gonna
got
sell
somebody in
scissors,
the
and they're gonna be
chat.
called string trimmers.
Welcome to the stream, Black Rose. Not very common for you to be here on our Tuesday afternoon antics.
Yeah, we're just talking about fucking semantics.
Yeah.
Words. Misnomers.
What's another one?
Wow,
Damn.
somebody's got some the burps today.
A Sawzall?
Sawzall. Is that a brand?
Yeah, or it's a model of a brand, but it's a reciprocating saw. Is the official. So when somebody asks you for a Sawzall, they're asking for a reciprocating saw. Oh, what's the one we always got at Harbor Freight that I never knew what they were talking about
Strong
for like a
arms?
year? Porta-pullers or porta-powers.
I don't know what that is
Porta-powers?
either.
What?
It was the hydraulic equipment kits.
Oh,
Those little 4-ton and 10-ton hydraulic equipment kits. Everybody called those porta-powers.
I remember somebody asked me for a strong arm. I'm like,
What the
fuck
fuck's
is
a
that?
strong arm?
It's like, I got a couple. I don't think that's what you need, though.
he was wanting a breaker bar.
I've never heard him called that before.
Well, yeah, I didn't either, and he was really upset.
Yeah, that
when
might be
I
a
was
brand
confused.
name, too.
He's like, you guys don't have any strong arms? I'm like, no.
It's like, I've got a couple. There's probably a few in the back.
I don't know what that is. It's like, well, if you ever do any kind of automotive work, you're gonna need one of these. I'm like, okay.
For what?
And then he found one. He's like, "This is what I was talking about right here, sir." And I was like, "Oh, a breaker
And then
bar."
you point at the label. You're like, see, it's. You grab it from me like, oh, thanks. I see breaker bar. See, if you'd have said breaker bar, I'd have known what you were talking about.
I guess
And
strong arm
I
might
said
be a
something.
brand
He
too.
was like, "Yeah, well, everybody I know has called it a strong arm."
It's like I don't know you.
Well, nobody I know has called it a strong arm except you. You're the first. I've never heard him called that either. That's a first. The people that really frighten you are the ones that are coming in there getting tools, presumably to work on projects, and they have no idea what the fuck they're looking for, or like how to use what they're looking for. I don't know if I've ever told this story on stream before. I know I think I've told you both this story where I had some dude come in looking for sockets and a ratchet once because he was trying to fix his car or a buddy's car or whatever. And he comes in and he's like, I need a 1/2-inch socket. I'm like, okay, well, we've got several kits of sockets. I'm like, what size do you need? He's like, I need a 1/2 inch. I'm like, well, I don't just sell the 1/2-inch socket. Boy, that's making a hell of a noise. It's done now. Don't touch it. He's like, I need a 1/2-inch socket. I'm like, okay, well, we don't sell them individually, but I've got them in this kit. What size drive do you need? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what size drive does the socket need to be? He's like, oh, I don't know. I just thought you used a socket and I'm like, no. And for those of you that don't know, ratchets come in various sizes, right? So there's a little square on the end that your socket attaches to. And, I mean, I'm only explaining this because apparently there are some people that don't understand how this works. But you've got them and they're either a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, like 3/4, stuff like that. And he was looking for a 1/2-inch drive socket, which is the receiving end of the socket to go on like a nut. Like the bolt head was 1/2 inch. And finally I showed him the sockets and he's like, okay, well, what was the other thing? He's like, I guess I need something else. I'm like, yeah, you're going to need a ratchet. He's like, oh, okay, I got you. So I grabbed him. We had 1/2-inch drive sockets and I grabbed him a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. And this motherfucker's like, okay, now how do I use this?
Well, you see, you take the socket out, you put it on the wrench, and you fucking crank away.
Right. And you would assume that this man came in here knowing that he had to take a 1/2-inch bolt off. So he'd know which end of the socket goes on the bolt. But this dumb motherfucker started trying to put the ratchet in the bolt side of the socket. And he's like, it doesn't fit, man. And like, I had to, for a moment, I thought this man was joking. Because I had never, ever once encountered somebody this dense.
I mean, that's some square peg round hole bullshit, right there.
Exactly. Like, it seemed too stupid to truly be real.
Somebody didn't pass kindergarten.
And I'm like, well, you're putting it on backwards. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, because he was trying to put it in the 1/2-inch socket, like the bolt part of the 1/2-inch socket. And I pulled the 1/2-inch socket off and I flipped it over and I pushed the button in on the back of the ratchet and I clicked it on. And this dude's eyes got huge and he's like, oh, that's how it works. And by the way, mind you, this man's like 50 years old.
Wow.
That's embarrassing.
Never picked up a tool in his life, I guess.
And he was working on his friend's car.
Oh, boy.
Not even his own.
Boy. Oh, boy, that poor guy. That
Maybe
poor
he's
friend.
always used wrenches. What a miserable life.
But I'm like, God, how?
It bothers me at Ford. A lot of the people that work there, most of them aren't mechanics. And all the team leaders, we have to do repairs on trucks, which you're trained how to do beforehand, obviously. But they don't necessarily know the names of all the tools. And so anything like any socket or anything that goes on a tool is called a bit, no matter what it is.
Oh God, that would annoy the shit out of me.
If it's a socket, it's a bit. And so when I started, I'd be asking team leaders for stuff. I'm like, hey, do you have any sockets I could borrow? And they're like, any what? I'm like, sockets? What we use to make repairs all the time? And they're like, oh, you mean the bits? I'm like, oh God.
Go ask a carpenter for a 3/4 inch bit, and they're gonna look at you like you've lost your fucking mind.
And trim removal tools
It's like
are called
you mean
popsicle
this shit? They
sticks.
pull out a giant fucking drill bit. You mean this? No, a bit. That goes on bolts.
Yeah, and we got like the trim removal tools or the plastic things so they don't damage the trim. We call those popsicle sticks. Yeah. And they have torque wrenches. Nobody knows what they do apparently, except for me, because like I talked to somebody and they hand me this like, you know how to use it? I'm like, yeah, it's just a torque wrench, and they're like,
what?
It's a clicker wrench. I'm like,
so close.
yes, I know how to use it, sir. I think I might know how to use it better than you.
It's frightening how
And
few
these,
people.
These are the guys building your.
Yeah,
truck.
these are the people building the trucks that you're spending
Hey,
$60,000 for.
They know how to use them. They just don't know what they're called.
It's like I'm trained. I'm trained. I understand what this is. It's just I never paid attention to the.
Hey Thomas, I need the clicker thing with the 3/4 bits on it.
Yeah, give me the clicker wrench with the 3/4 bits.
Might need a few popsicle sticks. Work on some stuff on the insides.
So yeah, I had some adapting to do when I started working. as a
Please
team
tell me
leader.
you don't call them bits now.
No, I don't. Well, it depends. If they don't know what I'm talking about, then I'll say bit.
I can only imagine how that conversation goes. Like you are now at this point established superior to these people. Like you're their team leader, and you're just like, hey man, can you get me like a 3/4 inch socket? What do you mean, dude? You've been here for like 3 years. Come on, you know what I'm talking. Like we've worked together long enough that this should be second nature to you. You mean a bit? Just get the fuck out.
It's like I feel like you're doing this on purpose now.
Also, all the power tools are guns.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that irritates the shit out of me.
That messes
When-
with everybody I talk to
When
whenever I talk about my job. It's like, yeah, you just take the gun and you shoot the you shoot down the nuts and stuff like that. And everybody's like, guns? What?
I absolutely despise it when people call drills screw guns. It sounds
Screw gun?
so fucking dumb. Hey Willie, you got the screw gun
Yeah, go
with the fillets bit on it?
go get me that there screw gun over yonder.
I had somebody come in when I worked at Harbor Freight though that legit came in asking for a screw gun, and I knew what he was talking about because it's a screw gun, it's a drill. I brought him to the drills. He's like, "No, that's a drill. I need a screw gun."
It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to be more specific.
He thought because the box said drill and not screw gun, it was not the same thing.
It's like, what's it do? What's it look like?
Yeah, that's when you just sit there. He starts describing, and it's like, well, it's kind of like a, it pistol grip style, and it's got a trigger on it. When you pull the trigger, and every sentence that he says, you just slowly show him a more clear image of what he's describing. And he's like, yeah, it kind of looks like that. Oh,
That's whenever you take your Sharpie out and you're like, oh, I know, and you just fucking scribble out drill and put screw.
One thing I've picked up that I do actually like is the Christmas tree bits, the step bits, because it does look like a Christmas tree.
it doesn't look like a Christmas tree, but I understand what you were talking about when you
What
said
do you
it.
mean it doesn't look like a Christmas tree?
It's not green. It's not twinkly. It doesn't have a bunch of lights and
It's got the
festive
shape-
ornaments.
It's called a silhouette, Austin.
It's got the shape of a coniferous tree.
A fucking cone.
Yeah.
That's all fine and dandy, but
Plus, when you say like step bit, like, it just sounds a little, it just doesn't sound right.
no, it makes sense to me. It drills out in steps.
I know, but it just sounds a little weird.
Maybe to somebody who's uncultured and dumb and thinks that string trimmers are not weed eaters.
I really don't want to be here right now.
Hey, for my ratchet set, do you have any like fucking eighth inch bits I could borrow?
Nope.
I also need a clicker wrench if you got one.
God, I had some funny fucking moments at Harbor Freight and some frightening people. I had somebody come in looking for a 6 1/4 inch circular saw blade, and he was missing like 3 fingers on his left hand. I'm like, I don't really think you need that.
Nah, trust me, I started using the guards this time.
What if he would have came in and asked for the finger eaters? Because apparently that's what some people call them.
I need some of the finger eaters. See, I still got a couple.
I still got a few left. Yeah, he was missing like his thumb and like his middle finger, and I think it was his pink. Like, I can't even.
You know
He
what's-
looked something like that.
I don't even know what I would do if I didn't have my thumb.
You know what's terrifying?
Shit would be hard.
Is using an angle grinder with cheap wheels. Because when you're cutting something, for instance, like with a cutoff wheel, it just like, and it shatters, and pieces just shoot out like a bullet everywhere. I hate that.
Never had that problem.
I bought some cutoff wheels from Tractor Supply, and all of them would explode at a certain point.
That's safe.
Nice.
Yep.
Very
Nice.
safe.
Yeah, I was cutting.
That's why they
exhaust.
always recommend you at least have safety goggles, or safety glasses. But
Well, at this point, you just need to wear a full Kevlar suit.
well, they recommend a face shield.
Yeah. Well,
The face shield's not going to stop fucking carbon metal from being lodged into my chest.
I mean, it
no, but
wouldn't
it
go
might slow
very
it down
far.
enough to not kill you.
It wouldn't go very far. You know, it would just stick in your fucking sternum and would hurt a lot, but it wouldn't kill you.
Yep. But yeah,
I can tell you what I
Stop
would
being a baby, okay?
Yeah. What the fuck?
can tell you what tool I would never go around ever again after that. I would be afraid to work on anything if something like that ever happened to me.
What, a fucking abrasive disc exploded and got lodged in your sternum?
Yeah, and then you get it all surgically removed, and you end up healing. It's like, hey man, I gotta fucking chop some bolts off my car this weekend. You want to do it? Nope. Nope. Nope.
It's like, yeah, sure, I'll bring my hacksaw. And he's like, no, don't worry, I got an angle grinder. It's like, no, I'm bringing my hacksaw.
Have you seen those pictures of safety glasses, like the cutoff wheel, like part of it just cut off, like stuck
Like,
in the safety
yeah, part
glass?
of it just exploded and
Yeah.
lodged in the safety glasses.
Yeah, when I was cutting my exhaust up, I was planning on just doing like a few real quick cuts. I didn't even bother to put my safety glasses on. And the first wheel exploded. I was like, I'm gonna grab my safety glasses.
You know what's funny with all the modern amenities for safety and personal protective equipment and stuff like that? I played Kingdom Come Deliverance for the first time, which is a medieval simulator based in a real life medieval thing. And it does a cinematic pan over of everything, and it goes into a silver mine with people swinging pickaxes and everything under there. And the first thing I thought of was like, wow, shit, where's everybody's safety glasses? I was like, wait a minute. It's like the one thing I'd want if I was in a mine swinging a pickaxe at a rock is safety glasses.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so apparently, Fallout 76 is having some more troubles.
Oh,
There is
Really?
another.
that still exists?
Is that what your mom was playing when I came in?
Yeah. She's playing with somebody that fell for the Fallout First trap,
That's unfortunate.
so they're playing on his private world.
Go bully him.
But apparently there is the same guy, by the way, that released the inventory stealing hack. You know, the one where you could push a button when you were looking at somebody and everything in their inventory would be added to yours. That one. This guy
I still think that's so fucking funny.
has released a new hack that pretty much just unlocks the whole game for anybody to do whatever they want. And yeah, nothing's happened.
Wow. Wow. What an absolute state.
Good old Bethesda. How far you fallen?
Yeah, it's sad. It really is. Oh, I do have some good news though. So first and foremost, today has just been my day. I got my tax refund in.
Good job.
So with my tax refund, I went ahead and made my payment on the pirate portrait artwork that I'm getting done for my Sea of Thieves character, which I'm super, super, super excited about. Which, by the way, if anybody wants some cool Sea of Thieves themed artwork, it's literally $30 US, and it's an 8x11 portrait of your pirate. Like, I don't know if
Done by who or what?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Plug that shit.
I will plug that
That
shit
sounds pretty cool.
because she does phenomenal work. You can get it done in full color or in black and white, and the black and white's kind of along the lines of a wanted poster, but it doesn't obviously have like it doesn't have a. So this is one of her pieces of work. And then
She really goes in with the art style.
I think this is her work. Yeah, that's her work right there. And then, yeah, I mean, she's got hella good work. All you do is send her a few pictures of your pirate. And then if you want a pet included, yeah, see, these are the ones that have the names. Mine might have a name. I asked if she needed it. She said no, but go ahead and send it. I might do it. So I sent her my name. She apparently usually only does it on the black and white. But these are, I think she said 30 Canadian dollars, which I don't know how that translates to US dollars, but 40 Canadian dollars is about 30 US dollars. And that's what I paid for my in-color print. So these prices have changed.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, definitely, there's where you go if you're interested. I definitely recommend. So I did that with some of my tax refund money, and then I've also got some professional logo work being done for my Twitch channel.
Solid.
Actual artwork being done. I sent the artist. So there's a trend with like these tritone colors where like you've got like orange, black, and white, and that's the whole color scheme. And then you'll notice that like everybody that's trying to be like an esports or pro streamer, it will be like a shield with their name in big boldface font and gradient text, and then like their logo. And so she had more like clean, ultra modern style work, and it was super cheap. I got unlimited responses, so I can go back and forth about revising the design. So she's gonna draw up 2 or 3 concepts, send them my way, and when I find one that I like, she'll send me all the files so I can edit color schemes and whatnot. But she just needed to know like what the name of the company was, and for this case, it would be my stream channel name, and then what they do, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm interested. I'm really actually excited to see, because I gave her absolutely nothing to work on other than where my name was derived from and what we do. So it's exciting. And then I've got the rest of my tax return to do whatever the fuck I want with.
I still need to do my taxes. TurboTax locked
You're
down
gonna buy
my
some
account.
strippers?
Why?
I entered I forgot my password. I entered it wrong like twice. And I went to reset my password and it said there's too many attempts, you gotta wait 15 minutes. So I waited, tried again, said you gotta wait 15 minutes. I'm like, so then I waited like 30 minutes, tried again, said the same thing. I tried the next day, it said too many invalid attempts, you gotta wait 4 minutes. I'm like, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I just reset. I mean, I had the same issue because I'd forgotten my password, but I just ended up resetting it.
I think
Like from immediately, without trying to log in, I just went reset password.
I was waiting for Ford to just go ahead and mail me the
The problem
W2s
is
before I do them.
when I hit I forgot my password. It sends you a code, and you put the code in. When I hit enter, when I put the code in and hit enter, it says you gotta wait 4 minutes. So the problem I'm having is actually in the reset password thing.
I would email TurboTax.
I've been trying to find a way to get a hold of them.
I'm sure they have a customer support somehow, somewhere.
They do. It's one of those things where like
Live
it's
chat.
hidden, and they don't want you to find it. And it's like, oh, well, go to our form under this form question, and you go there, and it's like, oh, well, you need to go here to this form question. It's like the same thing, and it's like, oh, if you need to call us, look it up in this form. It's like, and you go through it, and there's nothing there. It's like, what the? So.
I also last night, anybody that was hanging out with us on stream would have figured this out or known this, but I finished the first chapter of Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign. It's actually pretty good. And the cool thing, based off of the way the menu's laid out, is the game looks like it will receive updates as the Star Wars series goes on, because there were 2 chapters there at the present time. And the first one was, it kind of happened parallel to the end of Return of the Jedi. So, like, you are an Imperial operative in, like, an elite squad, and you're kind of running Imperial objectives, but then, like, the 3rd or 4th mission in the story is where the Death Star blows up in Return of the Jedi. And then what follows, that's so early in the campaign, you still have tons of the campaign left to live out, and it's all the aftermath for the Empire and the Rebellion. That's all Chapter 1. At the end of Chapter 1, it kind of skips ahead a couple decades, and you see how the main characters are interacting now with, like, Kylo Ren. And then Chapter 2 takes place just before The Force Awakens. So it's super cool, and I'm interested because there's one more block on the chapter screen, and I'm wondering if there's going to be a new chapter added to the game for, one of the new Star Wars movies, because I thought I heard somewhere that they were about to do a big update because of Rise of Skywalker, which I still haven't seen yet. Really need to go see that.
Who knows?
You all are a lively bunch of people.
Yep. That's what we do, is provide you content. The best of content.
No. No, you don't. Oh, what else is... EA's being sued by France in a class action lawsuit for loot boxes and gambling mechanics.
For loot boxing.
Loot boxing.
For illegally loot boxing. For loot boxing without a license. A gambling license, to be specific.
Namely, surprise, surprise, the FIFA series, because their EA Sport games are always riddled with loot boxes. So, that should be interesting. It'd definitely be interesting, too, to see how the new CEO handles this situation, considering, he's supposed to be better. Also, Forza Horizon 4 is going to be updated tomorrow. They're adding a bunch of new cars. The Lexus LFA is coming into the game, for those of you that are interested. But another car will be available, I think I read on Thursday or Friday, to purchase. And it's the Forza, or it's the Ford Focus RS pre-order edition. And it will only be available for a few hours, because at the moment there are only like 4 legitimate copies, or when it debuted, the game came out, there were 4 legitimate versions or 5 legitimate versions of the car ever handed out. And they were directly handed out from Playground Games to specific members of the community. But this car has an interesting body kit issue that a lot of people are hoping and praying they don't fix.
What's that?
Fucking... Something look wrong here?
What the heck is that?
Are the fenders supposed to be that big? Is that what?
Well,
what the problem is?
It's a wide body kit.
That's really wide.
It's no wider than the one that's already in the game. The issue with this is the wheels don't change.
It's like caveman wheels.
Yep.
Fucking brow sticks out way over it.
Everybody's hoping they don't fix it.
That's disturbing.
It's funny. Because, like, when
Did
you
they
look
ever
at
fix
it...
the Nissan Titan?
Oh, I don't know.
In whatever game that was.
In
3?
Horizon 3, no, they never did. But, like, the thing that I think is hysterical is when you look at this from the front, it's like a good foot on either side of the car before you actually see tire. This will be available to purchase for a couple of hours later this week. So, if you want a meme, you will have a limited time. So, just beware. Trying to see if I can find a picture of it from the front so that you can see just how absolutely ridiculous it looks. But it does not seem I can. It's a bummer. You put it on like super, super soft suspension too, and the fucking rear bumper clips into the ground, and it gets phased into the ground, and you start to like hyper accelerate as you drift endlessly into the abyss.
Is that an unfair advantage?
No, because you lose control of the car. Once that happens, you are no longer in control.
Does it just like go in a straight line, or is it just like up to the whims of God where it goes from there?
It kind of like catches and then it gets stuck until the terrain lowers and the bumper comes out, but it pretty much goes in a straight line until that happens. Like it glides.
So you're saying it's a quarter mile master?
If you can get it to wheelie well enough to clip the rear bumper into the ground, yes, it would be a quarter mile master.
It sounds like there's some build plans
But
need to happen.
Technically, you could probably it probably wouldn't do it in a vertical, because the reason the sides do it is because there's no tire keeping the body from rolling.
That's true.
And the same goes for like if you get one whole edge of the car stuck, it's gonna be like a rail car. Like it's just gonna go straight until it pops out. Very strange car indeed. And also figured out I can now play Forza Horizon 4 on stream.
Good job.
Surely to God, I'm not the first person to solve this problem. So for those of you, and I think, Tyler, you can attest to this, because I think you watched one of my Forza Horizon 4 streams, and you were the one that originally pointed out the fact that it was a very bad slideshow.
Yeah, spotty at best.
And the only way to fix that was to lock my frame rate at 30 frames a second, which I know it sounds petty, but I'm sorry I cannot do it. 30 frames a second at this point, as long as I've been playing in 4K 60 frames a second, 30 frames a second feels like lag. Like it feels wrong. It does not feel normal.
Well, according to Ubisoft, it's more cinematic that way.
Maybe in cutscenes, but the gameplay portion needs to be buttery smooth. Because, I mean, it is more cinematic. I think officially films are at like what, 26.4 or 24 something frames a second.
Frames a second.
Yeah.
The Hobbit was actually shot in 60 FPS.
But it feels like lag, and that's the only way I was able to fix it. You can't do game capture because Windows anti-cheat detects the OBS hook for game capture as a cheat, and it immediately closes the game as soon as the hook is attached. And if you do display capture, that's one of the reasons you run into the issue. Because the game doesn't actually run in true full screen on PC. So, long story short, I was looking at ways to fix my Star Wars Battlefront 2 gameplay because it was uber choppy. And there were two things that I ended up finding that weren't even related to Battlefront 2. It was just related in keeping my stream smooth in general. And it was disabling the preview window in OBS because your computer's essentially rendering your stream twice. It's rendering it on the game, and then it's rendering your output.
Mm-hmm.
So if you disable the preview window, you're only rendering it once. That helped game performance and dropped frames. And running it as administrator is all I did differently, and that fixed my Battlefront 2 problems. And I told everybody at the end of my stream that I would try Forza Horizon 4, holding out hope, or not holding out hope, but not being low expectations for that to be fixed. But apparently running it as administrator is all that it took to fix the problem.
Good job.
The most irritating thing about it is I've researched this problem extensively with no solutions.
Well, now you found a solution. You could stick it on a forum somewhere.
All the forum posts are like 2 years old now, though, because people gave up on it because the developers just kept shutting down the forums. They never addressed the problem.
Kick it up again and be like, yo, just run it as admin, guys. It's fine.
So, might see some Forza Horizon 4. Actually, I plan on doing Forza Horizon 4 at some point this week on stream.
You want to do an endurance race?
I don't know.
Or do you want to do something
Possibly.
dumb?
I mean, I don't give a shit what we do. The more people, the merrier. It won't be tonight. Tonight is... I try to reserve Nate's late nights for nights that we can play stuff like Sea of Thieves and that are going to be like a heavy time commitment thing.
Take forever.
But like Thursday night, Nate, if you'd be interested, we could maybe do some Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you ever figure out your mouse problem?
No.
Has it thrown off your timing in Sea of Thieves?
No what?
Because I know that you can't actually button mash in Sea of Thieves. Like it won't let
I
you.
didn't notice in Sea of Thieves.
Okay, well that's good.
It also helps all the guns are single shot.
That's true.
Although, if they were semi-auto, I could probably have burst fire.
Ba-bop, ba-bop, ba-bop.
I did notice that on my old computer when we were playing, when I was playing one of the FPS games we play, and I had that problem. The bullets shot really quick. It's ba-bop, 2 instantaneous shots.
Hey, if you got the double gunning down back in the olden days, you'd be clear. You just have to click once and move your mouse wheel.
Yep.
Click roll, click roll, click roll, and you get your double shot. So if we can get a gang of people together tonight, we'll do some Sea of Thieves. And I think I'm gonna modify my stream schedule, not necessarily tonight or tomorrow or anything, within the next couple days, but with doing these videos, I'm realizing just how much time has to be sunk into editing one of these videos to get a decent amount of footage. And obviously, the more I do it, the quicker I'll become, and it'll be a little easier. But I'll probably stream like 3 nights a week instead of 5, because 5 nights a week it's leaving me no time to I still want to have days off, right? And
Well, that's pretty selfish of you.
yeah, I know. Like, I'm streaming on the days that I work, and then on my days off, I'm streaming. And then the weekends, I leave myself off for the streams, except Saturdays lately. We've been doing Saturday instead of Friday. But then I still work on the weekends. So even if I don't stream Saturday and Sunday, I have a job that I have to go do. And so I'm trying to balance everything a little bit better so that I don't burn myself out. And then once I get my first video on YouTube, like the first highlight clips, we will cease to be using Restream. I feel like Restream is hindering my ability to grow on Twitch because of a number of features. It's super handy, but the 25-second chat delay is...
It's kind of annoying.
It's rough. So there are some changes coming. But hopefully it'll all be for the better. You guys are giving me nothing here. Absolutely nothing.
Hey, I mean, if you talked about anything interesting.
I'm about to starve to death.
Well, where are we going to eat?
I've got some places in mind.
Flint County Brewing Company.
I'd be down for that.
Humble's $20 Essentials PC or $20 PC Essentials bundle is a ridiculously good value.
Where is this coming from?
Spend PC World. Spend $20 on this Humble Bundle to get Dashlane, Viper VPN, Viper Antivirus, Revo Uninstaller, and more. Actually, I think I saw this. So the way it works is you donate money to Humble Bundle, and they'll donate it to a charity. So you're essentially donating a charity. And if depending on the tier of money you donate, like if you donate $5, you'll get these rewards, and if you donate $10, you'll get these rewards, and so on and so forth. And let's see, PC Essentials Bundle. So if you pay $1, you get Ransomware Defender with a 1-year subscription and Revo Uninstaller with a 1-year subscription. I don't even know what the fuck Revo Uninstaller is. Real-time installation monitor. Advanced scanning for leftovers.
What? What? Tupperware spotted.
Browser extension remover. I like that. Windows app uninstall, forced uninstall, quick multiple uninstall, database of installation logs. So, that's just a quality of life thing. Then you get Backblaze online backup, computer backup for, I don't know what it says, 6-month subscription for new users only. So these 4 come if you donate $13.11, but they also include the previous 2. You also get Viper VPN, which is really handy if you want to watch stuff that's not available in the United States. Like a lot of the BBC shows.
Yeah, a lot of the BBC stuff is just like, you go watch it. It's like, what do you mean?
So you get a 1-year subscription.
Why limit your customer base?
And then you get Shield Apps webcam blocker. Pay $20 or more. You get Dashlane Premium, and I don't know what the fuck that is. Soda PDF 11, which I assume is a PDF reader.
Did the end of this fucking podcast just turn into a product placement?
I'm just reading. No, I'm just reading up on this. The one that PC gamers would really appreciate is it comes with 3D Mark, which is like kind of the industry standard benchmark for your PC games. So much so that when you get it, you register, and your computer earns a score, and there's a leaderboard. And then Viper Antivirus for Home 2020. 5 PCs for a year. So, it's a pretty good bundle considering you get all that for $20, but I probably won't be getting it. I have no use. Yeah, let me see. There was some other interesting newsy items. Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. Oh yeah, Samsung's like launching their new phone lines today, I think.
Flip phones?
Yeah, but like it's like a phone like this, but a flip phone. And it flips in the center to close. We've gone full circle.
You lost me when you said flips at the center.
Yeah.
You had me until then.
And Samsung has another phone that folds out. Like
Yeah.
that.
The Galaxy Fold, it did not go over well though. A lot of people did not like it.
I just want to know how they fucking fold the screen. That's some magic shit, dude.
Wasn't that phone like $2,000?
Yeah, it was expensive.
I just want to know how they fold the screen like that, though. This shit's magic.
I want to know why you need it.
I don't need it. I just want to know how they did it.
Have you seen those new plane wings that don't have there's no moving surface, but the whole thing bends?
Yeah, that's been technology in fighter jets for a while.
But like, we've gone full circle. Do you remember the days? Everybody in the generation before us talks about how phones used to be massive, right?
Yeah, didn't they re-release the fucking Razr?
They did. Or it's about to come back out. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
They either released it or it's coming out like within the next couple months. But we went from huge phones to gradually getting smaller, and the huge phones didn't flip. And then we're like, okay, let's make flip phones because they're more compact. And then we made the flip phone, and they started getting smaller. And then the smartphone came out, and they started getting bigger, and then really big, and now we're flipping them again.
Yeah, now we're folding them. It's just gonna be. We're just gonna have fold-out tablets. Eventually, you just fucking like a 4-square fold.
Yeah.
And then fold out your fucking tablet, start tapping around.
Like, we have gone full circle. We've gone from big phones to flip phones to small phones to big phones to flip phones. The next thing you know, they're going to try to take this new technology they've got in the smartphones that flips, and they're going to make it as small as humanly possible.
And then, it'll get bigger again, and then we'll fold it again.
Yeah, except now they'll be glass. They won't be like plastic backs or metal backs. They'll just be solid glass pieces with the technology.
Somehow being able to fucking fold it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is this fucking sorcery?
You know what's crazy? Is that we grew up while the phone was switching from just a thing you used to call and text to an entertainment device.
We grew up before there was even
honestly
major phones.
I think and this could be like really incorrect, but I would go as far as saying we grew up in what I would consider the golden age of technology. Like, we grew up and are growing old in the golden age of technology. Because you think about
it, like back whenever we were in grade school, the biggest thing was the fucking iPod Shuffle. This little square box that had, like 200 songs on it. And now, not even 10 years later, we have miniature computers that fit in our pockets that
and hold
play
thousands of songs.
That hold thousands of songs that play games that computers back whenever we were
couldn't play.
That computers couldn't play. Right?
This I read somewhere
I could fucking play Doom on this. I could fucking play a whole bunch of shit on this.
Anybody with a smartphone, you can reach into your pocket and pull out your phone, right? And in your hands, you're holding a computer more powerful than the computer that NASA used to send a spaceship to the fucking moon. This is more powerful than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
I mean, what's even crazier is the fact right here is everything that you'll ever need to know is right here in this phone.
Yeah.
All the
information across the entire world is right here.
All you need to know is how to research it. All you need to know is how to look it up. But everything you would ever need to know is in your pocket.
That's the big thing about what we're going through right now is the information age. We have all the information you could want at the touch of your fingers whenever you want it. It's like we're going through this big thing right now. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people say it, but I mean, it doesn't really sink in. But I mean, think about 10 years ago. If you had a problem with something, you couldn't just be like, oh, hold on, let me fucking pull out my phone and Google that real quick.
Yeah, you had to
either fucking think it through or give up, do something else.
God, imagine playing games without the ability to easily pull up the tutorial on Google.
Yeah, and fucking games were way harder back then.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
You had to go fucking do this obscure thing over in the fucking far-flung corners of the map. It's like, yeah, you actually have to go to this one spot, spin around 3 times, shoot this target twice, only twice. If you shoot it any other time at any other point in the game, you will not be able to complete the game.
Could you imagine going to the library for walkthroughs on video games?
Apparently, they used to have hotlines you could call.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You could call a hotline to the studio and be like, "Yo, I'm fucking stuck," and they would charge you per minute.
Oh my god.
And that was back when you were on the landline, so it was already slowing you down too.
Right.
God, we have come so far. It's crazy just to see. And I mean, like,
and you used to have to call the internet. I remember that when I went to my grandma's house, she had that dial-up and it made those awful noises, and you saw a little keypad. Doot, 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 doot.
Hang on. For those of you, I'm sure everybody that watches this podcast, I would hope knows what.
That was a really long time ago, and like my grandma was the only one I knew that had that, so that's like way old.
This is what dial-up sounds like, right?
And all this, you're waiting to fucking play your stupid game. Fucking get on AOL and have a 5-minute conversation with somebody.
Yep. So I go through the dial-up thing, and then I get on the internet and go to play Roblox.
This is not like that's not even like a mock-up. That is exactly what it sounded like to a T. Like that's just the best part. Like why did anybody figure out why they sounded like that? Like why did it make those noises? Why couldn't it just be
I
like
didn't understand
we're
anything
currently
about it
connecting you?
when
Please
I was
wait.
a kid. I was like, this isn't a phone. This is the internet. I was like, what is going on? Why does it have to show me a keypad? Why is it making noises? I was so confused as a kid.
I always thought it was. I honestly the noises that dial-up made.
I actually did kind of like the noise.
They scared me. I honestly, I remember when I was a kid thinking that I was about to get eaten by aliens or some stupid shit like that. Like, this is what death sounds like.
I always like to keep it. Do, 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 do. I don't know why I always like that. Just really enjoyed that noise. But I was super annoyed waiting for it, though. I was like, this is bullshit. Why am I waiting for this to call the internet? Why is this a thing?
And then somebody gets on the phone and calls somebody while you're on the internet and your internet goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Because your phone line and your internet connection are apparently the same thing.
They still are, I think. Just
It
they're
depends
not.
what kind of systems you have, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just they're not a series anymore.
Right.
I also remember, those old home phones. You pick them up. So every now and then you could listen to like somebody else talking. You had no idea who it was. It's like, what the fuck?
I remember home phones.
But yeah,
Yeah.
home phones.
Nobody has those
I
anymore.
haven't had a home phone in fucking 10 years.
They still try to sell them though.
Yeah, it's for old people.
Like I think our package that we have with our internet and cable comes with a home phone, but we don't actually have one. So on our TV, every now and then a phone number pops up. It says we're getting a call.
Man.
It's always a 1-800 number.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy. Like, I remember having a home phone and always fucking losing it. Because we had one of the wireless ones, and so the phone would start ringing, but it wouldn't ring from the phone, it would ring from the receiver. And so you could never find the damn thing.
That's why you always put the phone back on the receiver.
Well, they only did that when the batteries were dead or dying.
GPS is
Just
not
put it back on the receiver and the
Okay, I remember when
Never.
GPS used to be something you paid hundreds of dollars for?
yeah, and then you fucking
Now you've
Wouldn't
got it
work
on
half
your
the time.
phone.
yeah. Now it's on your phone and it doesn't work half the time still.
When I was,
Mine doesn't anyways.
I don't even know how old I was. I was real little. We used to use maps. Like, we had
Maps.com.
No, like
Dude.
we had actual maps.
Oh, yeah.
And like you go online and you'd print out directions.
Remember MapQuest?
Listen. I've actually had to start using because my fucking GPS tracker, my phone is fucked all to hell. I've had to actually start using Google Maps as a fucking map. I have to look it up, look at the direction it gives me, and it's like, okay, then I have to turn right on this road up here, and then I drive fucking a mile or so on this road, and I have to turn left up here at this road. I've had to actually use it as a goddamn map.
Remember that, though? Like, remember the Garmin? Garmin was a big GPS brand. TomTom was another one. I remember that used to be... There was one year when I was a kid... That was like the hottest item for people to get for Christmas. Like it was a big thing in the Black Friday catalogs, was like the fucking portable GPS that you plugged into the cigarette lighter and you stuck on your window. Damn, dude. Now they're integrated into cars.
Yeah, his fucking dashboard has a GPS in it. Had.
No, it still does.
But yeah,
Whose? Mine?
yeah.
Does yours not have one?
It can.
Both my cars have one.
It can. I just don't have it.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
The one on the Challenger though is, it's garbage. It's just there for looks.
What, the map?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, it's probably far out of date.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible software. It's one of those ones where you go to enter an address, and
It's like, oh, it doesn't exist.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Because it may not have when, software existed. originally.
They made it extremely difficult to enter the address too. They made it obscenely
Well,
difficult.
because Chrysler doesn't. So you're trying. It's the Uconnect system,
Yeah.
and they don't use a QWERTY keyboard.
What do
So-
they use?
It's an
Abca?
It's an alphabetic keyboard.
I have to show it to you sometime because it's ridiculous.
I guarantee my mom's van's just a newer version of yours.
I didn't know it had navigation. I had to search for it when I got the car.
But yeah, I hate that about my mom's car because you'll be like, all right, I need to go to 1312 Sunnyside Lane or whatever, and you type in the numbers, and then it prompts you for the street number, and then it prompts you for the street name, and you go to where S would be on your normal keyboard, and it's like an F, and you're like, what the? And you hit backspace, and you have to search for the S, and it takes you 10 times longer because you're so used to the QWERTY keyboard that when you don't have it in front of you, it's weird.
Ford, they have that Sync, like the Sync 3 or whatever in their vehicles, and it is wonderful when it works.
Yeah, when it works.
When it works.
My dad has Sync because he's got a Lincoln, and I will say, I'm sorry, and I'm sure this is probably not entirely in their control, but the map systems in all those cars, so you can update your maps to like current maps with modern roads, modern establishments and restaurants and everything like that, so that when you're taking for when you're going to work, the new bridge is there. It costs you $175 to get a new map set up.
Yeah, you wonder how much it cost me on Google Maps? Nothing. On update.
Mm-hmm.
It should not cost that much money.
It's like, why
Especially-
should I pay for this manufacturer's fucking GPS tracking whenever my phone's GPS tracking is just as good, and I can just get a fucking $10 bracket to fucking stick on my dashboard.
Like, it's ridiculous. $175, and that's just to update your map. So the next time they add a new road, well, now your map's out of date. They add a new restaurant, map's out of date. Can't punch it into your car. Like, if Nate were to punch in, granted the address might pull up, but Nate wouldn't be able to search by a point of interest in the Challenger or the Focus for Rec Bar, because it wouldn't show up, wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting here, navigating for somebody driving down the road, I can pull up Google Maps, Rec Bar. Boom, there it is. Get me the address and get me on the way.
It's really quick, really easy.
That's why I'm going to put an aftermarket head unit in my car that syncs with my phone and allows me to use Google Maps in the dashboard.
I was actually thinking about hacking the Mazda 3 to allow it to sync with my phone.
That's why I want to
Use
use
my
my
own math
Challenger.
problem.
New head unit. Well, let me know when we can do yours, and then I'll decide whether I want to do mine.
I'd really like to get one that's plug and play, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
They are. Most of them are. I mean, from what I've seen, because some of the other stuff you might have to run a few wires like antennas and stuff to connect to your phone, but for the most part they don't have to connect to a bunch of other stuff. If you
Well,
want
I
to
don't
do
wanna
like
do like any wiring. I
Well,
just want.
shouldn't have to. The expensive ones like
I
the
haven't done a head unit on a newer car except for the Jeep was the newest one I've worked on. That was 2004. I don't know how it's changed.
well,
So-
see, all you got to do is take that bezel off the dashboard, take out like 4 screws and your unit will just slide out.
Yeah, I know that.
And there's one plug in the back.
Yeah, but
You will have to
usually
bypass-
That plug doesn't plug straight into another head unit.
It will, but you'll have to bypass your amp in the car.
Why?
Because usually the aftermarket head units serve as an amp, so you just have to unplug your amp.
How does that work?
I don't know, but all the guides that I've seen for putting one in my car say bypass the amp. So you do have to get up underneath like your steering wheel and unplug the amp, and then
I don't know how I feel about that.
But yeah, my
The amp's in the trunk.
my shit has fucking USB plugs that plug straight up into the computer of my car, so I'm probably just gonna fucking hack it.
Pretty sure the amp's in the trunk next to the subwoofer.
well, you have multiple. You have like one small one up front for your front
It's
speakers.
got like a big one in the back.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about car audio, to be honest. That's
But-
why I'm thinking about just paying a shop to do it for me.
Nah, don't.
I don't really feel like, because I want to do all the new speakers too. And I don't feel like doing that.
In the Challenger?
I'd rather pay somebody like
Probably not that hard.
$1,000, this new system all through. And be
Probably
done with
not that hard.
it. I don't feel like doing it though.
Who knows? Anyways, we're all hungry, so we're going to go get some food. We're going to see, I presume Tyler is in for Sea of Thieves tonight.
Sure.
So we're going to see if we can find a fourth person. Maybe we can. Hopefully we can. I'm sure we can. We're actually on a streak lately where we've had people willing to play. So, yes, come join us around 8:30 Eastern Time. We'll try to do better this week on getting here on time.
We won't be here on time.
We probably won't be. But we will try our damnedest to start on time. So come hang out with us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for some Sea of Thieves. We'll see you guys in a little bit.